Hi, my name is Misha. Welcome to my channel at Planning and Living in Jax. I want to start by saying that by no means I'm not a professional. I began indoor planning about 5 months ago. I think like many others, scrolling through my Instagram, and in my news feed, I see this beautiful Pilea. At the time, I didn't know the name, the Pilea Peperomioides. I just knew that I thought it was a beautiful plant. And I figured, you know what? Why not get it? Let's check it out. As I mentioned, I ended up seeing it, and without, of course, learning as much as I should have, I ordered it. And I can't remember if it was either eBay or Amazon, but it arrived within 2-3 weeks. And this is the plant. This is my very first Pilea. And pretty much what I wanted to do is I wanted to make it a video for beginners and hopefully save many from the mistakes I made. I have a few tips in how to care for her and in being successful even before you get a plant home. So first of all, when you go and you say, okay, I think this is a beautiful plant, let's say we were talking about this one, this is a beautiful plant, you see it online, whatever, can you please take 10-20 minutes of your life, review the name, review the care, review where it came from. The origin of the plant is quite important, because that way you're able to see whether you can mimic what she needs. And to me, that it's huge. And that's something that I did not do for the plant in the very beginning. So with that said, also once at home, there's a period where the plant is acclimating. So yellowing of the leaves, looking kind of sad, all these different things, it's normal. It's normal. You have to give the plant a week or two to kind of acclimate to its new environment, because you are moving the plant from what used to be home. So anyhow, and also look at your work schedule, because the plants will be at a schedule themselves, and so to me, that's something that I have found extremely important. Even though I have now many different types of plants and varieties, they do all have a. At first, I was really excited. When I ended up receiving my Pilea, I have watched so many different videos that I had purchased perlite, orchid bark, I purchased moss, I purchased biotone, and I even ended up getting succulent soil. So I had all these different things. I was doing all these mixes. So as soon as the Pilea arrived, not only did I remove its babies prematurely, which there's 2 that have not grown, but I also, trimmed it back, replanted it right away, which was my first mistake. I did not acclimate it. I did not wait. I was so impatient. And so I did this mix that I heard someone else do, and I'm thinking that's gonna work for me. So I ended up putting some rocks on the bottom to make it so that the soil wouldn't drain out. That was my first mistake. First of all, when you have a pot and you add all these different rocks on the bottom, the soil, it's going to be higher. It's going to be higher than what it needs to be. The bottom of the soil, if it's in a normal state, is the one that it's always going to dry last. But if you have rocks, pebbles, anything underneath, that moisture is going to be higher. And it's going to be where the root system is. Plus, another mistake that I made, aside from having tons of pebbles on the bottom, is that I ended up loving it too much, meaning I water the plant way too much. I read online that as long as you touch the soil and the first 1 to 2 inches are dry, to water it again. And maybe that's fine for those people that are saying that and for their plants, but for mine it wasn't. It wasn't right due to the fact of the soil content that I had, the type of mix that I had, and having the pebbles on the bottom. So because I realized that she was wet all the time, I decided, let me repot her and end up putting more of a cactus mix because it is a succulent plant. That was another epic fail. And I kept loving it way too much. So, long story short, I overwater my Pilea and root rot began. I started noticing the trunk of my Pilea turning brown. I started noticing that it was losing more leaves than usual. So take into consideration that I have not only replanted a brand new plant twice with 2 different soils and overwater the plant and remove the babies prematurely, which in other words, everything that you could do wrong, I did wrong. The root rot began to bring gnats into the home, and the Pilea ended up getting gnats. And I was going insane because they were everywhere. So I ended up buying the little yellow stickers, I ended up buying neem oil, and I was losing the battle. So I began to read more and more about it and watch videos in what to do once you get root rot and there's gnats in your plants. So I actually watched the video which mentioned how if you do 1-to-1 of water and hydrogen peroxide and water your plants thoroughly with that it helps. Sure enough, that's what I did. And it actually sounded really cool because you can hear the little bubbles and you know you're thinking, there you go, I'm like rooting for you, I'm like doing this. The plant still kept declining, and I think it was declining because it was trying to catch up to all the abuse I was putting her through by accident. And so even though I wasn't giving up on her, I decided that I was going to buy another Pilea. And I came across this vendor, I believe it was on eBay. He was selling 2 small Pileas in 2-inch little nursery pots for $19.99. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting them because I'm killing this one. And I figured that no matter what, I was going to figure out this plant because I was spending so much time, effort, money, and I was just countless hours trying to figure out why everyone's having such good luck, but not me. But I made all the mistakes I already mentioned, so that should have said something. But anyhow, this particular vendor, I feel like turned everything around for me. Not only did they send 2 beautiful Pileas that ended up being extremely healthy and dry, that I was able to pull them up and look at the root system. He also had a side note with the type of dirt that we're using and care. And the little note stated that they use Optimara potting soil. So I said, okay, maybe that's the key. And then I also decided, because I was, loving the plant too much and watering too much, that I was going to get a moisture meter. And that I ended up getting in Home Depot for less than $8, and it's called Soil Master. And pretty much it helped me because they have the soil master. What it has is a scale from 1 to 10. So from 1 to 3 it's on a dry side, 4 to 7 it's moist, and 8 to 10 is wet. So what I do with my Pilea now, instead of doing the finger test, I go by what the moisture meter says, and I water my Pilea when it's at number 1 or number 2, because it needs to be on the dry side. It is in the succulent family. The leaves are thick and hard, and you want to do justice to the plant. And aside from that, the drier you keep it, the less you're gonna have battles with gnats, you know. So the moisture meter took about, I want to say, 2 weeks to arrive. The soil another 2.5, and then that's when I decided, let's see if this is it. I also began to underwater the plant, which it's, not always, but every other watering schedule I do underwater the plant. So let's say this is a bowl, and I'm just giving you an example. So what I'll do is I add, less than half of water to the bowl, and I just place the plant inside of it. And this time, by the way, when I did transplant the plant one last time on the Optimara soil, I did not add any screen on the bottom. I did not add any pebbles, anything like that. So I ended up doing that, and you just put the plant in, and depending on the plant, depending on the planter that you have it on, it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours, sometimes 5, depending how large the plant is, and the planter. But you just leave it there and go about your business, go about your day. So I replanted the plant yet again, and I religiously use the moisture meter. I must admit that with the moisture meter, I felt like I had the break that I needed, because I ended up looking at it and thinking, okay, you don't need to be watered. Because sometimes you see the topsoil being dry and you're thinking, let me water you, let me love on you, without realizing what's underneath that. So to me, the moisture meter is amazing, and I cannot thank, whoever I watched that mentioned it, because it has saved my plans from me. And so anyhow, this time was for the better. And so after I replanted, I started monitoring the amount of times that I water, which I noticed that now she's on a every Sunday schedule, which I'm really happy. But this 3 leaves right here, this one, and this one, are new after putting her in that soil that she loves. And there's another one, I'm not sure if you're able to see it, another one coming out. So and her trunk, it's actually turning green again, and she's coming back. She's showing me, you're finally making me happy. So I ended up grabbing every single Pilea that I have and her little babies, and I put it on the Optimara soil, and they're in that watering schedule. You do have to realize that when it's in a terracotta pot, it will probably need to be watered more, but because it is a succulent plant and it has the proper soil now, without having to add all those extra things that I thought it needed, it's actually super happy. And right now, I also noticed that, you know what, if it's not dying, I'm leaving it alone. Aesthetically, I think many people would probably cut this one because it is like turned, but it's a beautiful green stem, and it's a nice thick green leaf. So I leave it alone. And then back here, this one has some little stressors, I guess, from early on. And but the stem, again, all the stems right now are beautifully green, and the leaves are nice and thick, so I'm not gonna cut what doesn't need to be cut. I have learned in the past 4.5 months that unless it's dying, unless it's extremely yellow, unless it's something that it's not gonna come back from, it will not be cut. So something like this, I'm just not gonna cut it. So I guess, long story short, when you get a plant, just really review who you're getting it from. When I first got this plant, the people that had it, it was obvious that they were already overwatering it, and that the soil was wrong for the plant. The mini nurseries, what they do is they have the type of soil that it's kind of muddy, because they want to save on their watering routine and schedule for the plants, because they're there to make money. So review the type of plant, review to see if it needs to be transferred right away or if it can wait to be acclimated. Because if you're getting it online like I did, this was something that needed to be replanted right away, transplant, but to the correct soil. I just did not have it. I did not know what was the correct soil for me. And I am from Florida. I am in a tropical climate. I'm in the perfect climate for a plant like this. But it doesn't matter where you are. If you're not giving it what it needs, it's not gonna, it's not gonna live. So anyhow, I honestly would love to know if there's other people that have struggled the way I have to learn, their Pilea or any other plant. Because I will be definitely looking at the comments below, because I honestly feel like it took me about 2.5 to 3 months to get to know her. And I want to know if there's other people that struggle with that, and we getting a plant that they may love and looks beautiful at the store, but comes home and and it dies on you, because it's awful. We spend so much money on them, we care for them, we give them this time and attention, and so it is pretty sad when we do lose one. At least it is for me. So anyhow, if you learned something, please give it some love and a thumbs up, and and please subscribe.